Hello, folks. This is Kilroy. I felt like making this video as an introduction for new players like me to this wonderful Surviving Mars Relaunched game, which I downloaded on the first day. I think it was the 10th of last month, and I've been going crazy with it since. Um, so basically, I was inspired to make this video for the newer players. I didn't play the first version, so it's all new to me. And the game setup was inspired by Dev Play Video number 5 on their YouTube channel. I made some changes to accommodate my noobness, uh, to make it a more fun game for me at my level. So let's go ahead and load her up. One of the first things, changed it to like a 3-day autosave. Just seems to be more useful than 5. And on my own manual save, I called it Phase 1, which this video is about. It's infrastructure, setting up the infrastructure first before doing colonization, which I found to be important. And, go over, oh, come on. So, go over, like, first of all, the coordinates that you'll see if you watch that video I referenced, would be 43 north on a custom base, 43 north, 52 west. And my mission sponsor is Brazil, which has a nice perk, which we'll go over. Commander Profiles Geoengineer, which starts me off with the star 4 prefabs for terraforming, which I haven't set up yet, which is I gotta get it set up. But for game rules, I went with like the video again. I went with no asteroids and underground. I don't want to be bothered with that at first. Prefab colony is very useful. Just get set up on the cheap and the quick. Easy research is nice because for me, you'll get to see all of the research and pick and choose. And also, you start off with 3,000 research points per sol. I wanted more applicants so that I can pick and choose from a better quality of my founders. Maybe get a genius or two would be nice. Armageddon. It's not as scary as it sounds. It really isn't. You basically get more things happening, but I think it's more randomized around the map. But also, you need some challenge to the game. Rough terrain is very nice for my. I enjoy just moving dirt and taking mountains down and doing stuff like that. So playing in the dirt is real fun, and the rough terrain gives you more stuff to play with. So go ahead and load her up. And yeah, look at this, like whole pause screen there. The video graphics on this are awesome. It's real plus for this game. So here we are. Let's start off looking at the map here and seeing that we've scanned this area so far. And so initially, you want to clear out your area and gather your steel, but also focus on the research. Initially, one of the first things I wanted was this one, autonomous sensors. Before I set up a single sensor, why would I do so when I can research that? And then they don't require power maintenance, which is nifty. And, so far I started out with a focus on the robotics. I want to get those robots tweaked as much as possible. Engineering, pretty key, Got one right there. My first rocket, I want to take 22, not 12. I'll show you why in a minute, but that's a key one for me. You know, so other things. They started off with me this breakthrough, which is nice. You get extra for the research sites that I have, but I don't have a Vesta yet, which would be nice, but I don't have one. And I think it gave me decommission protocol, which is also nice. Basically get something before you make a mistake and destroy a building or something. If you use the decommission protocol, which hopefully I'll remember to go over the difference, but basically you'll get something back for those buildings that you decommission, destroy. So there's what I'm talking about on the research points. So I get 3,000 to start. Excuse me, and I've been able to bump that up by 300 on the sponsor through laws and research. Also, the explorers through a law, I think, basically get 100 more for the two explorers I have. And there's a collaboration penalty of 20, but still they scan faster with two, so that's good trade for me. So I end up with 3480 right now at Research for Solve, which was pretty keen. And emergency training, well, I'll keep that. But basically, right now I'm working on the trains, so focus, bing bang boom, safe transport, faster, and luxurious trains. In case a colonist ever would get on one, we'll see. But so that's the research, and let's go over what we have here for the game setup. Basically starting out with infrastructure first. So one of the things you'll notice is I start out with the best options. Why go with the basic when you can go with the upgrades if they're available? So, a couple of things I gained from that video was set up what they call a flower power, but I got my own twist on that. And another key thing is the nice lady Dev showed that start off here with a space heater or heater, build a pipe network around it, and then build your infrastructure for oxygen and water around that with towers and oxygen tanks. Because when you get your first freeze, which I've already been through, actually I've been through 3 emergencies. I had freeze, a dust storm, and a couple of meteor showers, and I'm still here. I'm still surviving. But what do we got going on here? So space heaters. I just got through the freeze event, so these are all on. I don't need them anymore. So I'll use control, hit this, and now they're all turned off. But having you can see where it protected them with this. This is the 15 range, maximum range for this heater. So you can see with this hex here that all this stuff. Eventually, this will be chock full of everything, I think. But they'll all be protected during freezes. Here we have two. So with the prefab colony units, whatever, you start off with a fuel refinery, which is key. You got to get that fuel going so that you can launch your first rocket. And so I have a prefab and built one. So 2 of each seems to be nice. I have concrete here, but it's right in the middle of everything, so I didn't want to use that. So I went with 2 concrete extractors on this huge concrete patch. Eventually I can get another one up here and maybe one more to clean up this little leftover. But with the waste storage, because then I built what the key to Brazil is you start off with prefab on these rare metal refineries. And so I built another one. So, you can see I got 2 of everything, which is nice. And so what this does is when you send your first rocket back to Mars, initially you need to get that first one gone. So you need the fuel. So that's another key research is the optimization. Yeah, this one. Rockets and shuttles require this fuel. So instead of having to build up 50 fuel and rare metals, I only need 30. So, getting these set up as soon as possible is pretty key for me. First shuttle. So the first shuttle I sent, I had the fuel, but I only had about half, 15 built of the rare metals, but I sent it with 15. Still got like half a billion. So with the full load, you get like a billion, and then you can increase that with export laws and stuff, and see how that goes. But you'll get more. I'll get more by going with Brazil with these beautiful rare metal refineries. So so this was the water and oxygen grid protected with a heater. And I then spread out the heaters so that I want to protect everything during the freeze. So, that's pretty key too, is getting these researchers. And that's a research item too, pretty key. Subsurface heating. Got to have that start before they first freeze. So everything is pretty much warmed. You can see by, again, these clear areas where they kept the frost from. Well, actually, yeah, it's just because this is a cold area, but you get the idea. So we got a network of the heaters, and so that we got a oxygen and water grid here, and then we got a power grid here. So, it was mentioned the flower power, which I never got to see completed because I still haven't seen video 6 in that Dev's Play series there. So, hopefully that'll come out sometime, see how that flower power turned out. But I made a twist on it. I call it the triangle of power. So, again, going with the best available. I mean, you can see, right? So it's power, right? So, and another little trick is initially you see this here on the quick look, whatever. If you right click, it moves it there, but I wanted the best. So I right click. That's another thing you do initially is just right click the best things to look at. I don't want the wind turbine. I want the large wind turbine. That's just the way I roll. And what else can we do here? Well, I need to research that. So here's the switches, which we'll go over in a sec. Those are nice. So now when I set up my power grid, which, again, these power accumulators, I have them surrounding my triangle of power because basically these things are very useful. Main use to me is charging my capacitors here to keep a supply. And so with power production of two, well, I want to look at everything. So how would I do that? Well, I go up here, power. So you can see the way I have it set up. The stored power output is critical. So I have it at 320 because I have stored power 3200. So that'll basically get me through a sol with just the batteries. So that's pretty key to me. I think initially with the power, before I do anything, I want to make sure that I have my infrastructure set up. So in stored output is, I believe, 20 per battery, right? Yeah, max output is 20. So I don't know how many, one, two, I got enough to get me through one sol more just on the capacitors. But these wind turbines will operate in any condition, really, I think. So, these are great to have. And, but I look at these as the backup because when I start off with prefab colony, I get 6 of these beautiful generators, Stirling generators, which I can open or close them. And I like to keep them closed if I can because then it'll cut down on the maintenance, right? So now by setting these up, I also utilize these switches. Now, if I look at my power right now, again, I just got through, I think it was a freeze, might have been a dust storm, but I get everything running when I don't need it. So I'm going to go ahead and by using these switches, I can shut this off, this whole grid. They're all, they're not supplying power. And same thing with all of my capacitors are charged, right? Stored power is 32. Yeah, so they're fully charged, so I don't need them anymore. So I'm going to turn that triangle of power off. But also, I want to turn off, since these aren't charging my batteries, go ahead and turn all these off with the control, and then I hit that and turns them all off, right? And so in wind turbines, I don't need them, so control, turn them all off. So even though I turn the switch, so that they're not in the power grid, they're still going to be running. And why run them when I don't need them? Because again, it's all about the maintenance, man, in the long run. All right, so those are turned. Oh, minus 34, huh? Let's see. Do I still have these things turned on? No, they're all off. So I'm at minus 34. What else can I turn off? Well, the shuttle. I'm not using it. Yeah, turn that bad boy off. So this is nice getting the shuttle hub. I got it through one of the breakthroughs. Gave me 3 options, and I said, I'm going to need a shuttle hub eventually, but I don't need it right now. But it was free. If it's free, it's for me. So yeah, I took it, put it, but don't need it right now. Yeah, so turn it off. All right, so what's that do for our power? Minus 24, huh? Wise guy. Well, I don't want to get hung up with that, but you can see how I can go. Well, let's just try for now. I'll open my Stirling generators. You can see when they open, they'll kick in more power. So I have 36. All right. So anyways, I can manage that. I'll figure that out later. All right. So here we are. We got 2 Marxies. And this is what I think is a bug. Because right now it's saying that my demand for oxygen is it 13.8? Water, 26.1. Well, okay. So I went in and turned off my domes. So they don't need the water and oxygen. I don't know why. That might be a bug. What's up with that? I'll figure it out. So let me go ahead and pause this while I'm doing this. So time is precious initially. And hey, what's this shuttle doing here? That's 5 metal. Yeah, salvage that bad boy. Oh yeah, salvage. So when I go into my build menu, I don't need to do it with that. That's automatic. But you see here, with that decommission protocol, I can salvage things. So if I salvage this whole dome, I'm not going to. But if I did, I'd get something back for it. If I didn't have the decommission protocol and I salvaged it, I don't think you get anything back. But at least this, I think I get half of everything I put in there back. But make sure you get rid of that thing. I don't want to click on it by accident. So, we went over again infrastructure. I built up my rail station here, but the rail that goes to nowhere. Eventually, I'm going to have a rail station here so I can access that concrete. And concrete is pretty cool initially. I got 2 of them over here. And so you think you want to save these, but I want to trade it. Because I found that I built 2 pads initially. One is for the landing pad for Earth. And this one here is a landing pad, but I can go in and change this to a trade pad. And I'll choose concrete to trade out because I don't have enough built up right now. And it's still the other uh, colonies are still in their initial stages too. So, but eventually, I found they love giving you polymers for concrete and food too. So since I don't have a farm yet and stuff, and if I need to, I can always just set the trade pad to, hey, let me trade some. And then my main resource is going to be concrete until I built up my metal extractors. Because concrete and metal, I don't want to trade my valuable electronics or machine parts. If they'll give me those, yeah, great. But initially, I can trade concrete. I'll get polymers and food because they're idiots, and they. That's what happened on one of my previous runs. I was like, wow, easy on the trade requests, man. Yeah, I got plenty of concrete, but I don't need. You already give me enough polymers or food. So there's that. Excuse me. Now, initially on one of my run throughs, I had set this up with a mobile hab, that little thing that's self-supportive for 5 people. And I wanted to get working on my first, that way milestones. Yeah. Milestone, that's these are my competitors. But you'll see they're different. That's randomized when you start a new game, but milestones. So yeah, I missed out on the first human on Mars because I'm focusing on infrastructure. So I said, I tried another run through where I'm going to send out just 10 engineers, not engineers, geologists, so that I can get these 2 steels. Because I had this set up with the train. I had a hab here and a hab here and a metal extractor here, metal extractor there. So they came and landed and all went to this first hab, which I had located next to the train station as close as I could between this extractor. So 5 of them went there. They went to work, beautiful. But there's 3 of them like refused to get on the train. It's like, dude, get on a fucking train, or you're gonna die, and go live in this hab and work on this metal extractor. But they wouldn't get on it, and they died. So I was like, oh, okay, do over. Anyways, so here I am. That's why I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna focus on infrastructure first, and maybe we'll get that milestone that says first Martian born. Maybe we'll see. Since I have everything to build up their what are we focusing on? Their comfort. They better be comfortable when they get in here, because I've had trouble with them starting off very uncomfortable. It's like, well, I'm gonna max it this time, comfort, when they come in. So they better be damn happy, I'll tell you. So, all right, went over that. The trading, little bonus that I found with my concrete. If I max my concrete, I can trade it for polymers or food. Uh, when I go into my dome services here, uh, nope, this one. So, again, here I'm going to put the space bar there. Small grocer, I'm going to put the big one there. Medical post, or I can build an infirmary. Well, I don't. That'll be for the hospital dump. Security post. Let me right click that. I only want to build the best available. Why build the? Just don't see art store. Yeah, we'll get the big boy there. Art, no art workshop. So, anyways, there I now I set it up so I'm only looking at the best, and you know, also maximizes offices are nice to have for the missions around the planet. So as many offices as possible, and then I can bring in what I call the lunkheads, the unspecialized, to come in and work the diner, the space bar, the medical post. Well, I need medics for that, but anyways. So you can see that I've created 22 jobs, and oh, my first rocket's going to have 22 colonists. So they're going to be focused on these available jobs, and so that's the next phase. Phase two will be colonization. So you can see where I'm trying to get at is that I didn't scrimp and save. I didn't play. I wanted to play this so I have a buffer of my critical resources. I'll have my domes already set up and ready to go with the best available for comfort. So they better come in, be happy, and make little Martians. Because that's what initially I want just Martian borns. Eventually, I want to have to bring in colonists. And, so I'll work on the research to get them the best possible Martian born existence. So that pretty much covers my infrastructure. The grid layout is very important to me with these drone hubs. You can see that I didn't want too much overlap, but I need to cover this whole area. I've got everything covered with space heaters in case there's a freeze. And I think I've pretty much covered everything. So we'll wrap this video up by saying thanks for watching. You don't have to follow or subscribe because that's not what I'm doing this. But, leave some comments and hopefully you can point out some of the mistakes I'm making. I'm sure there's several, not hundreds. And have a little chit chat about this game that's got me by the, well, I'm enthralled, let's say, with this game. So that's it, folks. I hope you all are doing well and take care. Maybe we'll catch you the next time.